Welcome to our deep dive
Oh, yeah.
into Amy Schneider's in the form of a question.
Okay.
And we're going beyond just like the headlines of her, record-breaking Jeopardy run
Hmm.
to really explore what her story can teach us about curiosity,
Sure.
identity, and lifelong learning.
That's right. It's fascinating how she sort of weaves those threads together in this book.
Yeah.
It's not just a celebrity memoir.
Right.
It's really a reflection on how a curious mindset can really shape your whole life.
I was surprised by how central her childhood fascination with encyclopedias was to her story.
Yeah,
It wasn't just about, memorizing facts, but something deeper.
exactly. She talks about this idea of building like a mental index card system in her head
Okay.
where she connects, bits of information from all these different sources. So
Uh,
it wasn't just trivia for her. It was about understanding the relationships between things.
so that's how she developed that, like, lightning fast recall on Jeopardy. It wasn't just luck, it was a strategy, built over years.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And she argues that this approach is applicable to anything,
Right.
not just game shows.
Yeah.
Whether you're learning a language, a skill, or just trying to understand the world better,
Mm-hmm.
actively connecting ideas is key.
Yeah, it makes me think about how often we just passively consume information these days.
Totally.
Just scrolling through feeds without really absorbing anything.
Yeah.
Amy's approach is like a call to be more intentional about how we learn.
Absolutely. And that intentionality is also evident in how she talks about her experience as a transgender woman.
Yeah.
She describes this feeling of being off about gender expectations from a young age.
Right.
But it was her relentless curiosity that led her to understand and ultimately embrace her true self.
It's so powerful how she frames her transition not as this sudden event,
Mm.
but as a process of questioning,
Yeah.
researching, connecting with others.
Right.
It really mirrors her approach to learning in general.
It's like she applied that same, mental index card system to understanding her own identity.
Yeah.
And in doing so, she not only found herself, but also became a powerful advocate for others.
Yeah, that's what makes her story so compelling. She didn't just win Jeopardy,
Hmm.
but she used that platform to break down stereotypes and inspire people to live authentically.
Yeah.
But she's also candid about the pressures of that fame.
Yes, she talks about the mental toll of the Jeopardy streak,
Oh, right.
the constant pressure to perform,
Yeah.
and the challenges of navigating newfound celebrity.
Wow.
It adds a layer of human vulnerability to her otherwise extraordinary story.
Right. It's a reminder that even amidst, incredible success,
Yeah.
there are real human struggles, doubts, anxieties.
Mm.
She doesn't shy away from that, which makes her even more relatable, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's refreshing to see someone at the top of their game
Yeah.
acknowledge the less glamorous side of the journey.
Right.
It reminds us that success isn't a straight line, but a winding path with its own unique challenges.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's where I think this idea of deliberate practice comes in,
Uh-huh.
which she emphasizes throughout the book.
Exactly.
It's not enough to just be exposed to information. You have to actively engage with it.
Right. It's not just about, reading those encyclopedias.
Right.
It's about making connections,
Yeah.
testing yourself,
Yeah.
really wrestling with the material.
So how much of her success then can be attributed to raw talent
Mm-hmm.
versus this dedication to like deliberate practice?
Right.
It seems like she's making a case for nurture over nature.
Well, she acknowledges that she has a natural aptitude for learning,
Right.
but she's adamant that anyone can improve their cognitive abilities through focused effort.
Okay.
She even gives specific examples of techniques she used,
Oh, like what?
like space repetition and active recall.
Okay.
So she really demystifies the process.
Right.
And it ties back to her broader point about lifelong learning being a choice, not just a privilege.
Yeah.
Anyone can cultivate a curious mind if they're willing to put in the work.
Yeah. And she also stresses the importance of finding a community of like-minded learners, right?
Absolutely.
It's not just about solitary study, but about connecting with others who share your passions.
She talks about how her Jeopardy success wouldn't have been possible without the support of her partner,
Mm-hmm.
her friends, and online trivia communities.
Oh, wow.
They provided encouragement, accountability,
Mm-hmm.
and even helped her refine her strategies.
It's a reminder that learning is often a collaborative process.
Mm-hmm.
We can learn so much from bouncing ideas off each other, challenging each other's assumptions,
Yeah.
and celebrating each other's successes.
And that community aspect extends to her advocacy work as well.
Right.
She sees her platform as an opportunity to uplift marginalized voices, and create a more inclusive world.
It's inspiring how she uses her knowledge and experiences to champion causes she believes in.
Yeah,
It shows that learning isn't just about self-improvement, it's about making a positive impact on the world.
exactly. And that brings us back to one of the central themes of the book,
Okay.
finding the joy in knowing.
Yeah. And it's not just about achieving a specific goal or winning a game.
Right.
It's about the intrinsic reward of expanding your understanding of the world and yourself.
It's about that aha moment when you finally grasp a concept or make a connection you hadn't seen before.
Right.
That feeling of intellectual satisfaction is something we can all relate to,
Yeah.
regardless of our background or expertise.
And Amy argues that cultivating that sense of wonder and curiosity is essential for a fulfilling life.
Right.
It keeps us engaged, open to new experiences,
Yeah.
and helps us navigate the complexities of the world with a sense of purpose.
I love how she ties that back to the book's title, in the form of a question. It's a reminder that the journey of learning is just as important as the destination.
Right.
It's the questions that drive us, the curiosity that keeps us going.
Precisely. And that spirit of inquiry is something we can all embrace,
Right.
regardless of our age, profession, or background.
Now, this deep dive wouldn't be complete without mentioning the book review you brought in.
It provides some interesting perspectives on Amy's story and how it resonates with readers.
Yes. The reviewer highlights how Amy's journey is so much more than a game show win.
Okay.
It's a testament to the transformative power of lifelong learning and the importance of embracing your authentic self.
The reviewer also points out how Amy's curiosity about the world ultimately led her to a deeper understanding of herself.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful cyclical process where external exploration fuels internal discovery.
And they praise her writing style as well,
Oh, yeah.
describing it as warm, witty, and wise.
Yeah, I agree. She manages to be both insightful and entertaining,
Yeah.
which makes for a really engaging read.
The reviewer also mentions how the book champions the idea of deliberate practice, the importance of community, and the need for inclusivity in learning environments.
Which are all themes we've touched upon in our conversation.
Exactly. And they also note that while the pacing can feel a bit uneven at times,
Right.
overall the book is a compelling and inspiring read.
So beyond the review itself, what were some of the things that personally resonated with you about Amy's story?
I was particularly struck by her vulnerability.
Oh.
She doesn't shy away from sharing the challenges she faced, both personally and professionally.
Makes her seem more human, more relatable.
Exactly. And I think that's important because it shows us that even incredibly successful people struggle,
Yeah.
and that it's okay to not have all the answers.
It's that willingness to keep asking questions that ultimately leads to growth.
Another thing that resonated with me was how she connects her love of learning to her advocacy work.
Yeah, she doesn't see them as separate entities, but rather as interconnected parts of who she is.
Her curiosity fuels her passion for social justice,
Right.
and her experiences as a transgender woman inform her understanding of the world.
It's a reminder that learning isn't just about acquiring knowledge. It's about using that knowledge to make a positive impact.
And speaking of impact, I think Amy's story has the potential to inspire a whole new generation of lifelong learners.
Especially those who may not see themselves represented in traditional academic settings.
Her journey shows that you don't need to follow a conventional path to be successful,
Yeah.
and that curiosity can lead you to unexpected and fulfilling places.
It's about finding what you're passionate about and pursuing it with everything you've got.
And never being afraid to ask questions along the way.
You know, one thing that really stood out to me was how Amy talks about balancing breadth and depth in learning.
It's this idea that you don't have to choose between being a specialist or a generalist.
You can have areas of deep expertise while also remaining open to exploring new fields.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you're constantly learning and growing,
Right.
both intellectually and personally.
And that brings us to one of the most compelling aspects of Amy's story.
Okay.
Her ability to connect seemingly disparate pieces of information.
It's his talent for synthesis that allowed her to excel on Jeopardy, and that she applies to all areas of her life.
She's able to see the bigger picture and understand how different ideas and concepts relate to each other.
It's a skill that's becoming increasingly valuable in today's complex world.
And one that we can all cultivate through conscious effort and practice.
Now, one question that I kept coming back to while reading about Amy's journey was this.
What is it? How can we foster a culture of curiosity in our own lives and communities?
That's a great question, and one that I think Amy's book really encourages us to grapple with.
Yeah.
It's about creating environments where asking questions is encouraged,
Right.
and where learning is seen as a lifelong pursuit.
It's about celebrating the joy of discovery and encouraging people to embrace the unknown instead of just focusing on finding the right answer. Maybe we should be more focused on asking the right questions.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that curiosity is not just a personal attribute,
Hmm.
but a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play in creating a world where curiosity is valued and nurtured.
Where it's okay to say, I don't know, and then go on that journey of discovery together. Amy's story shows us that it's not about being the smartest person in the room, but about being the most willing to learn.
Absolutely. And to create that kind of environment, we need to model that behavior ourselves.
Right.
It's about being open to new ideas, challenging our own assumptions,
Yeah.
and constantly seeking out new knowledge and experiences.
And maybe even taking a page from Amy's book, literally, what if we all started building our own mental index card systems?
Yeah.
Actively connecting the dots between the things we learn, no matter how seemingly unrelated they might be.
I love that idea. It's about training our minds to see those connections,
Right?
to think critically and creatively,
Yeah.
and to approach the world with a sense of wonder and possibility.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Amy Schneider's, in the form of a question, I'm left feeling inspired and energized.
Oh, good.
It's a reminder that lifelong learning isn't just for academics. It's a superpower anyone can develop.
It's about asking questions, challenging assumptions,
Yeah.
and constantly seeking new knowledge and experiences. And as Amy so beautifully demonstrates, it's also about finding joy in the process of learning itself, not just focusing on the end result.
So what are you curious about right now?
Mm.
What piques your interest? What mysteries do you want to unravel? What knowledge or skills do you want to acquire?
Take a moment to reflect on those questions, and then take that next step. Dive into a new book, explore a new topic, reach out to someone with expertise in an area that fascinates you.
Remember, curiosity is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And who knows, your own curiosity might just lead you to unexpected and fulfilling places, just like it did for Amy Schneider.
Amy Schneider's story is a powerful reminder that a curious mind is a powerful mind.
Yeah.
So go forth and explore, ask those questions, and never stop learning.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into In the Form of a Question. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration.
Until then, keep those questions coming.